I keep receiving the same comment under my latest video called "Are mages destroying the competitive integrity of Elden Ring?" and that comment is, who cares? It's not a competitive game. And I'd like to reiterate very specifically on what it means for a game to be competitive, because it seems like this question is being tossed around and this word of competitive is being tossed around a lot, talking about this game is competitive, this game is not competitive. But actually, what do something being competitive exactly means? It seems to be a question that no one really is answering. No one is going into the depth of precisely what it means. So let me give you my thought on the whole matter. So I'm going to take the comment from Salty Gamer where he says this is not a competitive game though, and I'm asking him what is the definition of competitive, and I have Dan who answers, in this case PvP oriented games like Overwatch or any fighting game, Souls game have always been PvE game first. And I'm answering him that this is actually not a definition. We have to be precise with words. Competitive means relating to, characterized by, or based on a competition. But what is a competition? A competition, the activity or condition of striving to gain or win something by defeating or establishing superiority over others. This is what competition means. A game of rock, paper, scissors is a competition. A hot dog eating contest is a competition. A 100-meter sprint at the Olympic is a competition. And Dark Souls 3/Elden Ring Evasion Duel Tournament is a competition. Whenever there's a winner and a loser, it is a competition. Hence, the games are competitive. The FromSoft games are, by definition, competitive. The real question that no one really is asking and no one is really taking time to answer is, are the Soulsborne Ring games Sekiro... I don't know how we're going. We need to find a term to talk about the whole plethora of games that From Software is doing. We're just gonna go with Elden Ring. The question is Elden Ring PvP game balanced? Are the Souls games suited for high-level competition with high skill gaps so that we can determine precisely who is the better player? And that is the real question. Are the Souls game offering a space in which we can express all the tools that can define a good video game player to call it a fair competition? This is really the goal here. Is the competition fair? Is the competition interesting? Is the competition offering any value? If I win a game of rock, paper, scissors, I might have won the competition, but does that make me the better rock, paper, scissors player? You know, I'm not sure. It's probably just luck, and this is one of the problems that the FromSoft game have, is that sometimes it's just you got unlucky. So to come back to the topic of who's the better player, because this is what we want. We want to know in a PvP environment who is the better player. And the question is, can the players entering a Soulsborne competition can use the full extent of their ability? Hand-eye coordination, game knowledge, spacing, decision making, hand dexterity, reaction speed, and you know, all those variability can determine a good player, a good video game player. And so that is a real question that we should be asking ourselves. Obviously, the answer is very complicated to answer and will vary from people to people. But we need to stop throwing this term competitive, oh, this game is not competitive, blah blah blah, because the real question is the game balanced? You know, is the competition that the game is providing of value? Can we determine that a player is better than another player when 3 men is running at him with spears or whatever, or spamming spell at him when it's a 1v3? Does it mean that those players are better? You know, same story in a 1v1. Is someone is using an efficient weapon against a guy who's using the top tier of the meta? Can we say that the guy using the top tier is the better player, or the guy using the non-meta is the better player? Is everything determined by only the weapon you're using and the game is almost played by itself? Those are real legitimate questions, and this is a thing that I disagree a lot when people are... I think this is what people mean when they say the Soulsborne game are not competitive, right? The FromSoft games are not competitive, is that it's a bit random, it's a bit silly, there's a little bullshit here and there. But actually, let's take someone from G9 as an example. Like, when you look at him play, do you not see the value of his skill? You don't see the value of of his hand dexterity, how he's able to swap so quickly, how he's able to understand what the opponent is going to do even before he's doing it, how he's able to manage, you know, fighting multiple people or even in 1v1, how he's able to adapt to his opponent's strategy. Like, of course, this game has a lot of value in high level play. You know, there's a lot of ways that as a human being, as a gamer, you can express a skill set, a huge skill set that I just described as, you know, game sense, hand-eye coordination, etc., etc. Team, you know, the ability to play also with the teammate. If you have a teammate, how do you play with your teammate, etc., etc. So to finish a bit on that tangent, in my opinion, those games have a solid chance to be competitive if they're offering the space in which it can happen. The reason is that there isn't much money around the PvP Soulsborne formula, and this is why people are saying that those games are not competitive. But is League of Legends that much of a not silly game? You know, is Overwatch that not much of a silly game? Those are legitimate questions. Like, why are these games chosen to be the high skill, you know, the high skill of top level of esports, you know? That's probably because there's a lot of money involved. That's pretty much it. And those games are very popular, published from huge developers, and those developers put the money into making these big events so that they can sell even more of their games. And this is really why they are considered as being top competition. But I don't think the Soulsborne games are that much less interesting in terms of expression of one's ability as a video game player. So that was just to answer a little bit on this topic that seems to come back a lot from this video. I'd like to thank everyone really who took time to answer, watch the video, like the video. I really appreciate. I do answer to every comment. Every time you leave a comment on a video, I'm answering it. And yeah, I hope that was a bit helpful and it gave a bit more of a clarification on this whole idea of what is competitive, what is not. And I think it's really a problem of semantic, of etymology, of choosing the word rather than really what the word competitive itself means. Like, we need to be precise with words, we need to make an effort to understand what we're talking about, instead of just throwing like random words around. But thank you guys so much for watching. It was Valentin for the Tarnish training camp, and I see you guys very soon in the lands between. Bye bye.